Hi everyone, Brianne from Pigment here today, and I'm going to be coloring an autumn wreath from our new book called Autumn Wreaths. If you're noticing, I got some leaves around me. I kind of went picking in the garden outside in my yard, and I just wanted to get some inspiration for leaves. So I just kind of have them placed around me so when I'm coloring I can kind of use them for reference in making some of these leaves realistic, sort of, like in a sort of way, but I also want them to be very bright and colorful and pretty. I'm just using them for reference, kind of giving me ideas as I go along. I picked some red and there's some yellow over here. I got a yellow one. And just have them kind of scattered like I said, and just going to keep an eye on those while I'm coloring. I also made a special palette for keeping these leaves in mind, and I called it Autumn, and it's all at the bottom here. You can always go make your own palette by just clicking on the new palette, then the color wheel will come up and you can pick your colors. I also made a different fall color one a little while ago for something else, but this one I really want the oranges, the browns, even a little bit of green, and I got a black and a white for shadows, for deep shadows and highlights. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to go to my fill tool and I'm going to pick Pillow. I'm going to use Pillow because it's going to help get some of that shading in the leaf already, which I want like distressed looking rough leaves. If you notice, some of these leaves have little brown spots. I don't know if you can see up there, but some of them have little brown spots. And yeah, so I'm going to try and make them look a little bit realistic today. Okay, so I'm on my Pillow tool, and to begin I'm just going to go around and fill all my leaves and kind of designate their color. I am not too worried about how it's going to look because I'm going to go over it again very shortly. I just want to get my colors in place. That almost looks like a crumpled up leaf. This one kind of looks like it's dying and shriveled up. When you're all kind of scrunched up like this, it's hard to see where it ends and begins. I'm just coloring the veins a little bit darker because they all seem like they're a little bit darker in the leaves. Once your leaves are leaves. And you can even do some that are brownish, like the leaves on the ground out there. We have a lot of trees on our property and all the leaves on the ground are actually pretty much brown. Just trying to keep the colors somewhat real. I'm going to try and, I don't know if I'm going to do green leaves in here. I haven't quite decided on it. I'm going to go around and fill it in first and see how I feel at the end of it all. It's just kind of handy because if I fill first, then when I'm going around and I have my tools out that I'm going to use for detailing, I don't have to worry about skipping back and forth with my tools. I can just continue continue on. We've got a big one here. You know, there's more yellow leaves out here than anything. Really, there is. So maybe get some variations of yellow. These almost look like maple leaves. Do a big cluster of yellow leaves. I think I'm going to keep actually all these big ones yellow. Maybe scatter a little bit of red and orange at the bottom, because they're, even the yellow leaves might have like orange or something in them, because that's what I'm noticing. Yellow leaves, everyone thinks just yellow, but if you look at them, they're almost have a lot of brown in them, and some of them even have a little bit of orange. I find it's really helpful doing that. I mean, if you really want inspiration, go to real life objects. I mean, you can't go wrong with it at all. Really good for reference. I'm gonna try and stay away from orange directly around any pumpkins, because the pumpkins are going to be orange. So I don't want to have too much of that around them. I might do a little bit, just because I don't really have any full flat oranges in here yet, or flat orange leaves, I should say. So maybe just around the edges here, I'll do like an orangey brown one over here. Just want to get some variations in colors. Okay. So we got our colors distributed for the leaves. So I guess this will be a fall foliage color tutorial on how to kind of get realistic leaves. I'm going to color the pumpkins and stuff as well, but we're going to focus on these leaves, considering how it's fall. So I'm going to go back to where I started, and right about now I'm actually going to grab my pencil tool. Now I really love the pencil tool for doing foliage and fruit and stuff like that. I do use it quite a bit. So that being said, I'm going to color this in a little bit. Come on, let me make sure I'm on automatic. Forgot to do this. I'll just do it with the pencil here. Got these little pieces. Okay. Now with the red, it's almost like there's yellow in it too. So I'm just gonna kind of bring my opacity up, my brush size up. I'm just gonna kind of brush very lightly some yellow. Not a lot, just a little bit. I'm going to go to my red that I have there, and I'm going to go to the edges and I'm going to shade them a bit darker towards the edges. And go to the brighter red. The leaves have actually gotten darker in the last little while. When I was driving the other day, they looked so luminescent with the sun. It was really gorgeous. They're just glowing. So I'm just kind of getting that texture. I want that grainy texture for my leaf. I'm going to go around And I'm gonna do this for all of them. In different color combos. I'm just kind of highlighting the veins with the yellow. So as I'm looking, I'm noticing that the veins are a little bit yellow in them. So it doesn't really take a lot to get a nice layered look to your leaf. And even here, I'm going to highlight this a bit because the stems on these leaves that I'm looking at, they're almost bright red. Just going to kind of add a little bit of that. I'm having a sticky hand day, having trouble zooming in and out. So I'm just going to do that to little squiggly wigglies here. Darken up a little bit of areas that I noticed might need some shading. And you don't have to press hard. I'm pressing a little bit harder here just because I want to get it dark. But you really don't have to press hard when you're doing your leaves. You will get the results by pressing softly as well. Fall is my favorite time of the year. I wish it was a bit longer and didn't get cold as quick, but I do really, really enjoy fall. So I kind of went around the edges and darkened it up, and then I lightened up some parts. Maybe just go over it again with the light red. And it's just going in like a circle, so it evenly distributes and it doesn't look like I have harsh, coarse, weird looking lines. Okay, so I think that's good for that leaf. Let's move on to the next one. The next little bud here is orange, so I'm going to go to my oranges. I'm actually going to deepen it up and get some brown. I'm just going to go where I think be a little bit darker areas. I'm just going to brush my pencil tool. Make sure your brush size is up, because then you get this more, like the more detailing. If you go down, you don't really get it as much. And then I'm just going to grab a yellow. Make sure my brush size is back up. And I'm just going to gently, very, very gently rub this yellow in. And just very gently follow these lines. Not all of them, just the more predominant ones. And I think that one's good too. So we're just going to keep on working our way all the way around. Now we have the yellow one. Just kind of want to brighten this up a little bit. I'm looking back and it looks a little dark. I'd like it to look a little bit brighter. Now we got this yellow one to do, so I took that like deep mustard yellow, and I'm going to just kind of show your brush sizes up. And I'm just going to rub this in these crevices. Tongue-tied. And Just try to get a little bit of this textured shading in here. Now there are some veins that didn't get colored, so I'm actually going to step out for a minute to the airbrush tool so I can fill them quickly. Doesn't have to be perfect or nothing. Okay, so I filled in that. Now I'm going to go and grab this little bit of a more goldy type brown and go back to my pencil tool. Make sure my brush size is up for that, get that granular effect. Especially if you rub it over the dark areas. And this is something that any non-premium users can do as well, which is kind of nice. Pencil tool is free, which is awesome because I really do dig the pencil. Just kind of adding a little bit of shading around the crease of the leaf. Okay, and let's continue on to our next ones. This is kind of like almost like a brown, burnt orange. So I'm going to go in with darker brown. It's good to kind of be systematic and just go around so you don't miss any detailing. So now a little bit of the bright orange in here. Fall colors are so pretty. I'm going to do this red one now. So I keep on kind of deepening up the color I already laid down. So in this case it's red. And I just kind of go and add some granulated shadows to some areas that I think would be dark. And then I go back with a brighter color and kind of blend. And I'm going to also go back with yellow. And remember, by having a bigger brush size, you'll naturally get a granulated effect just by pressing lightly with your pencil. I'm going to go back around and adjust as well again, but for now I'm just trying to get my basic shading and everything in. So now we're going to do these groups of yellow leaves. So make sure your brush size is up and just kind of rub the edges in a circular motion to get the texture. Can do some through the middle as well. Do the whole leaf if you want, like I just did. And then I'm going to rub a lighter color on top and blend. So I'm going to go back to my airbrush tool for a second here. Just going to position it so I can... I am tongue-tied today, my goodness. So I can, I just want to fill in these veins. I don't care if it's perfect, doesn't have to be. I just want the color in there. I'm not worried about it being perfectly within the lines. One good thing about fall is there is no bugs. That's probably another reason. Well, there's bugs, but there's not, you know, mosquitoes and horseflies and all those kinds of things that are a nuisance. Can actually go for a walk and not get eaten alive. So I'm just kind of going over these veins. And I'm probably going to add some more shading with that same color. So now I'm going to go back to my pencil. Kind of why I wasn't too worried about staying in the lines perfectly is because I kind of planned on going over it a bit with the pencil after. Yeah, some of the leaves are really brownish. They're all dying and losing their color. The pretty fall color that we all like to see. Okay, so now we can, now that I did that one, I'm going to go around and do the same to the ones. I switched to freehand mode when I have trouble going over the lines, when I'm trying to get the vein. Just makes it easier to bypass the lines. And I'm gonna do the rest of the leaves, but I'm just gonna do all the shading and all the highlighting at once, so I'm not gonna go back and forth. So I'm gonna get in these. I'm actually gonna put it on freehand mode for this. I'm not worried about getting it in the pumpkin. I'm gonna color the pumpkin later, so it will be filled and corrected. Same with the white spots. I mean, I'm erasing it, but it really doesn't matter because I am going to put color there after. So it really doesn't need to be perfect by any means. I'm just getting my kind of dark browny color in there. Mask coloring them all. This one, these I might do a little bit different than that one. Just cause I can. These ones are gonna kind of look like they're all from the same tree. Just getting some red in there. Not the bright yellow. Orange. This is like a easy, fun way to color and get even looking results too, is not worrying about the lines and doing it on freehand mode. I know some people don't like using freehand mode because they're not used to it, but if you really try to incorporate it, you'll find it creates a lot of easy shortcuts sometimes. Okay, so I'm just gonna adjust here, and then I'll go over my veins, but I'm not gonna go over them as dark as I did that leaf there. I'm gonna make these leaves slightly different, and I might not do all the veins either. I'm just kind of randomizing it, like just some of them and not doing others. Oops, there I go, hitting the erase button. That was pretty good. It's the first time I did it. Whenever I color like this, I always hit it. That's what the back button is there for, I guess. So there, I just did some of the veins. They are, after all, already black. I just kind of want to add a little bit of, you know, different. These ones are really dark, I find. I almost want to lighten them up a bit. Just a bit. I find this very dark here. Yeah, that's better. I was just looking at it and it looked too dark for the rest of those leaves there. So we're getting there, we're working our way around. I'll do these orange ones now. Just gonna brush. I'm gonna actually just leave it on freehand mode now because I just really like not being restricted to how I want my my leaves to be shaded and highlighted. So I'm just gonna leave it on freehand mode. Personal choice, you can definitely like not do that if it makes it uncomfortable for you. Just a personal choice. It's a tutorial, but everyone has their own way of feeling comfortable coloring, and by no shape or form is it the same for every single person, right? So then I'm just going to go around and do all my red leaves. I guess that's supposed to be part of the leaf there. It's going to be fun when I get to those jack-o'-lanterns because I am going to make them glow. Okay, so now with these red ones, I'm just going to fill in the vein. It's always a good way to start off is to pick whatever colors you're going to use and lay it down, like just fill it, and then go over it with your detail and highlighting after. That's what I do anyways, and I find it's a good technique. Seems to work out for me anyway. Just going to grab a little bit of orange and brush it in a little bit. some yellow. There I'm getting like the variation in colors that I want, and the leaves are starting to look, you know, somewhat old and distressed, which is what I wanted. Actually just gonna cross the edge of some of these leaves. I just want to darken it up a bit. I'm not going to worry so much about the veins with these ones. I think I'll just leave them mostly natural for the red. Just looking and analyzing your picture. If you wanted to get rid of all of that outline and everything that you did, you could just go to your regular fill and just, you could tap it away. And then it trims it all up and looks clean. For now, I'm going to be coloring the background anyway, so I'm not too worried about. Same with the pumpkins. If you were concerned, you could just easily tap the white and clean them up. But like I said, I'm not concerned with it. Okay, so let's go to our yellow pencil. Just going to go on automatic mode for a second because I was kind of bleeding the wrong color into this guy here. Back on freehand mode. Okay, and I'm going to go to airbrush. And just fill in these veins. It's almost like my fingers are sticky or something sticky every time I go to rotate. Seems to stick. I rotate so much because I find it easier making lines certain ways than others. More comfortable drawing stance, I guess. or coloring stance. And looky here, I forgot a little piece. Actually, it's red, so maybe I should do it red. Dark. And I'm just brushing the edges kind of dark. I'm going to grab this orange and just lightly put it in. Putting some red in now. It's kind of trying out the airbrush, but I don't like what it's doing, so go back to the pencil. So there's our fall looking leaves. I think it looks pretty good. It's got a couple of things to touch up here. And I also want to go around and add spots to some of the leaves. Okay. So now I'm going to take out my technical pen. I'm going to bring the opacity down a bit. I'm going to try that brush size to start. I'm going to just grab this and make it a brown. And I'm going to randomly add dots to some of the leaves. I don't want the opacity up because I don't want like big dark dots. I just want like it to look used. I'm just going to step back and have a look. Because if you look, it has little dots. I'm not going to do it in all of them though, maybe just a few. And I'm moving this up and down so get different size of dots so it looks natural. I'm not really paying attention to what size I'm adjusting it to. I'm just making sure that I am adjusting it for different sizing. I find the technical pen makes really good dots. Now we got some brown dots on our leaves that are wilting. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad, not too bad. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the background. Usually I do the background first. I didn't do the background first this time, obviously, so I kind of had an idea. I'm gonna see about it. So I'm just gonna go to fill. So I'm already on fill. And I'm just going to where'd that color go? It's like a dark, rusty brown. And this is something new that I haven't done in a very long time, is doing the background after I colored the piece. Okay, and then I'm going to go to Bloom. I need higher opacity than that though. And then I'm actually going to go to fade. And I'm just going to lightly I'm going to do it from the bottom up for best results. Okay, because I just want it to look like it's coming through, but still dark on the outer edge. So I'm just going to leave the background for now. And I'm going to do these pumpkins. Now I think I'm actually going to go to palettes. And just because I want a variety of oranges and yellows, I'm gonna use the Pigment palettes. And I'm going to go to Pillow. I'm gonna touch in the middle. Actually, I want a little bit of a, that's better. Get the shading underneath and at top. I'm just going to fill it all in, but it's going to get some work done to it. Oh, I need to do something here. Dum 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 dum. Fade. Color match. I guess I could have just filled, but that's fine. I'm gonna go back to the. Now, I want a couple different colors in these pumpkins. I'm just kind of experimenting here. It's too dark. I just want a couple of variations in the oranges. I'm gonna do these ones. Again, tapping in the middle to get the shading at the top and towards the bottom. And at the bottom towards the top to get it at the bottom. Now is when I don't want to be dragging my finger across the wrong way. I mean, because pretty close to the end here. I don't want to mess up my leaf work I did. Okay, so now, just for a second, I'm going to go back to my colors, go to autumn, because I do need green. I think I use a little bit of a brighter green. Don't want to. Oh, I missed a part of the leaf here. These little spots are better to zoom close. My screen is sticky today. I don't know why. I usually don't have that many problems zooming in and out. Maybe it's just me and the way I'm grabbing it. Okay. So, there, we got some pumpkins. Now this is going to be fun because I kind of have an idea of what I want to do here, but first I gotta get in shading and highlighting. So we'll go back to our oranges. And I was thinking about using the paintbrush from pumpkins. I'm just going to use my fingers on the side to zoom in and out because I'm not having much luck today with it. Make sure I'm on automatic because I don't want to. Just like here. I just noticed I missed another little spot. Okay. So I don't want to mess up what I did. So it's on automatic now. And I'm using paintbrush just to kind of do some shading. I just kind of want it to look streaky, like there's lines in the pumpkin. So that's why I'm using the paintbrush. You can't see it lots, but you can definitely see it with the darker color. You can see the streaks. I'm just shading in the bottoms, any places that look a little bit shadowy. Just another little tiny dot here, you see. And I'm just using the orange palette that Pigment provides for this. I'm not trying to make them exactly the same. They can have a little bit of variances. That's more than fine. Not any two pumpkins are exactly the same, just like not any two people are. I'm just doing the same thing to all of them with the paintbrush tool. Doesn't need to be perfect because I know I'm going to lose a little bit of detail on this next part that I'm going to be doing here. I just want these colors in place so when they do fade a little bit it still looks good. I do know that they're going to fade though, and I will show you why in a second. I just want to get the stems done because the last step is going to be really the last step. So let's go to these greens here, it's fine. Just shading the stems, adding a couple highlights so they don't look so bland. So a little bit going on them anyway. trying not to ruin my picture with my zoom fingers. Okay, so I think that's pretty good for the jack-o'-lanterns, except now I'm going to go to my yellows. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. I'm going to try both. I'm going to try the plasma first. And I'm going to try like that. It's like more like an orange, but I just want to see. So I'm going automatic for the mouth, and I'm going freehand for the eyes. So now I'm just going to touch up my picture and add some final details. And I just want to try one more thing. I was going to have like the steam kind of coming off, but I don't know. I think I like this one done a bit cleaner. I'm just going around trying a couple things here. I was thinking maybe it should be darker. Up here. I'm going to reverse it. Make sure I don't miss any spots. Because the glow is coming from the bottom, I should have probably thought of that. So we want to make the pumpkins, it glow around the pumpkins, not towards the top, right? I'm just going to go around these edges. Sometimes you just don't know till you're getting to the end of your picture how you want things to look though. To make this glow. And now I'm just kind of blending it, trying to get like a nice look to it. And you can go one step further if you really want to make it glow, and you can go to your laser tool, bring up your brush size so your opacity shouldn't be too high. And then you can show me yellow here. A bigger brush size. You can go around the edge of the pumpkins. Get a little bit more of an intensified glow. And then you can even bring your opacity up a bit. And use it to highlight your pumpkin. Show that your pumpkin's a bit shiny from the light too. And then if you want, you can go to your blur. Just kind of blur that glow. It's pulling. It shouldn't be pulling the red, but it is. Yeah, I don't think I need to use the blur actually. I think I changed my mind on it. No. I don't think we're going to use the blur. So we got our leaves. They're darkly shaded with a little bit of brown spotting to them. Speaking of which, I'm going to go to my technical pen. I'm just doing some last minute touch-ups now. We are almost done. And I'm just going to add some spots to the pumpkins. kind of get like a little bit of an aged effect. And I'm gonna grab my pencil tool and just kind of do some last minute touch-ups. Just gonna get some more, a little bit more deeper shading. You got like a glowing pumpkin wreath. Very fun to color. I'm gonna do just maybe one more thing. I keep on getting ideas. Sorry, folks. Almost done here. Gonna go to my laser all the way up for opacity, brush size around there. Just want to try making some Halloween fall magic. Try to make different sizes to make it look more kind of natural, like natural glow. The more sizes you get in there, like when you see sparks come off a fire almost, there's all different sizes for the sparks, right? Accidentally hitting things again. Make it look like the sparks are really flying. They're even on the leaves. Now we got like our magical, glowing pumpkin jack-o'-lantern fall wreath. Well, this is Brienne from Pigment, everybody. So thanks so much for joining me today, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.